the biggest asset you possess is your knowledge and mind, and what you do with it, not the capital that you invest.
Welcome back to the My First Business podcast. This is a mini episode where I take some of the best parts of my interviews with phenomenal entrepreneurs and chop it up for you like a snack.
Starting my own ad agency was not the most desired one because I'll be competing with a sea of competitors and established ones. I got married, right? There was a war in Lebanon in 2006. So I was taking care of the logistics of my parents traveling the world to come to me to Dubai. Everything happened during those 3 months of establishing Brand Lounge. And again, I said, yeah, but the risks were there and you knew it. But I think this defines who you are. That those risks are short term. They are avoidable or they're temporary or they are just a pebble on the road for success. And I always believed from day one that the biggest asset you possess is your knowledge and mind, and what you do with it, not the capital that you invest. But again, to your answer, I said, if I don't do it now, when? When my wife delivers, when I have school fees and tuitions, when I have, the much more difficult responsibilities, now's the time. And that should be a motivation for success. If I lose, I won't be the first. It will be the capital that's been lost. It will be an experience and a failure to learn from. And I have an impressive resume and CV and achievements. I can find my next job easily in a market that I know well, I'm very well connected in.
Let's talk about, was there only just one time or were there more times where you got so close to shutting everything down? Whether it's because of external environment, whether it's something internal, whether you've lost passion for your own business. Because I've seen a trend with other business people that I've started to talk to now. I've only been in business 3.5 years. So I'm a newbie, very fresh into this whole game, and I'm experiencing all these new emotions I never knew existed. It's almost like I've become a new human being. Like I didn't know this kind of pain existed. But some days I wake up and I just want to burn it to the ground. I just want to walk away from it. Just give everyone their notice. Say thanks to my partner, who's my wife, Alina, as well, which she had some background in Leo Burnett as well. So you guys have something to talk about there. But how often do you get close to that? Does it happen on an ongoing basis? Or maybe you can tell me about a few times that it has happened.
Yes and no. Yes, it came close in areas where I could not control what was happening. The first encounter was the global credit crunch of 2008 and 2009. I was only 1.5 years in the business, and the business was doing amazingly well for a business of that age. We were growing as a team. The business was, because of how the economy was, it was focused on real estate. So we had all the big names in a very short period of time. We worked on massive projects with Amar, with Ta'mir, Tatweer, all those names that were there. And I loved it. And I saw the potential that I said, okay, what if I could replicate this into other markets? And I ventured into establishing our Saudi operation in 2008. While I was doing that, which was the Q4 2008, during one of those media marketing shows at that time, the news started coming of the Lehman Brothers and what was happening and all of this. I said, it's in the US. And then we start, oops, this project stopped. Oops, this money is owed to us. And it was so painful. It was extremely painful because I had to stop the venture into Saudi, consolidate my efforts and money that is here. I had to shrink the operation, which wasn't even 1.5 years old. And I had amazing people at that time. Office of 2,500 square foot became 550 square foot. I got through 2009 without being salaried myself or getting a single penny. And that I owe to 100% to my wife, who was working at that time and supporting me. So yes, I had to question a lot of things. Is it worth it? In times like this, is it really something I want to do? But the question was, it's the business did not fail, and I did not fail. If I failed, I would have learned. If I learned anything, is the importance of cash flow at that time. But it wasn't me. It was a global crisis. This will define me. It is the easiest thing to do is to shut down and float the CV back. I said no. And that's very much me. When I feel the heat around the corner, I pack my bag, run, and make it happen. Why Dubai only? Why not Ras Al Khaimah, Abu Dhabi, the rest of the GCC? Why real estate? Why not retail, media, services, professional business? So I took a pause and reflected back, and I said, okay, that's what we do. We look at clients' positioning at that time, right? Isn't this what we the essence of why we started EVE? And I said, let me take that positioning pause myself. And I said, are we only a Dubai real estate focused branding agency at that time? Which is how we used to refer to ourselves. The answers immediately were visible, as I told you now, the answers. No. And 2009 leading to 2010 was the real pivot of what Brand Launch later became. We got our money that was in the market. We regained our energy. We pivoted our business model and positioning. We generated a lot of awareness and interest. People were getting back out of the crisis and understanding the value of differentiation and reworking on their own business. So to that extent, I think this was the most important yet worrying period of my life personally and Brand Launch's history, because we learned the value of cash flow, which today we've addressed, and is something that keeps us at least sleeping well after that period of time. Of course, it took a couple of years to adjust, but the learning was more important than the action itself. Knowing who we are and what we're capable of, knowing that we are our methodology is the essence and not the industry focus. What works here could work there, but if you have to address it differently. So all of those things came out of that. But as I said, it was not the first time or the last time. We got many other challenges. COVID is one key one, right? While this was a phenomenal year for us on all fronts, I know it's tough to say that when we recall what happened. The only worrying thing was the element of we don't know what this is, and we don't know how long it is, right? We had to learn. I had to work on a survival mode approach. I had to work on and probably this is where I really put that element in practice, which is our culture. So I wanted to see what we're made of, and if my people get it or not, and they did. They were the best support anyone can imagine. Clients were super assuring and understanding to even the worry that I had. I put 8 scenarios. None of them, thankfully, worked or happened. If we lose that, if we lose that, if we lose both, if we lose 3, what would happen? So again, that business was put on the test, and we came out of it again stronger than ever. We understood. We took that time. We used that time to understand what clients want. What are their issues and fears? We were the psychiatrists of brands and say, okay, culture was a key thing that we saw when interviewing CEOs and business owners. And I did a survey, and I published a white paper at that time talking how do we How do we sail uncharted territories, and how do we pivot post COVID? Because we know with every downturn there's an uprise. There's a business that is waiting to flourish. And two things people came out of COVID interested in that was relevant to us: defining or re-articulating their purpose and fixing their culture. And those two things were already established on our own. So we knew how to build on them in our practices and on services and on our clients, and led us to another good 2-3 years of business and a future that we believe is bright.
All right, that's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed that teaser. I think you will love the full episode. I'll leave the links in the description below, or you can head on over to my website. It's nparvez.com. Before you head off, I have just one more question to ask you. Why haven't you subscribed yet?